Welcome back to the Man of Mastery podcast, where we're meeting and learning from men and women, thought leaders in personal optimization and elite level life performance.
Your job is to fulfill your highest purpose and to achieve your highest potential, to take care of your family.
Man of Mastery Podcast, episode 15. Today's a quick-hitting discussion with Kelly Roach, author, coach, speaker, and host of the Unstoppable Success Radio podcast. When Kelly's team reached out and I read her first book, it's really clear that she is something unique in her coaching space. She works with online businesses, coaching business growth, organizational design, teamwork, hiring, and she comes at it with a Fortune 500 success background that is very unique. So as I mentioned, this is a pretty quick one. I hope you'll like it as much as I did. A few things that I really enjoyed about it and took away and really am going to apply myself as highlights. She talks about the courage that it takes to fail and fail bigger and fail publicly. The bigger that you want to get and the more that you want to achieve, having the mindset to do that, I think that's really part and parcel to some of this mastery journey, and for me personally, what this podcast is about. So that's one to really embrace. Another on that same tack that she talks about is failure, and being willing to take bigger and bigger risks, having the courage to push yourself and fail to learn and fail forward. In last week's episode, I talked about my recent experience at the SEALFIT 20X event, and it is designed for failure. It's all about failure, but what it's also about is applying that for team success and the realization that every team has strengths and weaknesses. Every individual has strengths and weaknesses. So another topic that Kelly and I hit is around teammates and hiring the right team, hiring the right people in the right roles in the right organizational design. And I would say, for me personally, that is something that really hits home. I've made my own mistakes in the past in hiring. The smaller the organization, the bigger the impact, good or bad. And when you rush, you've got a launch plan, maybe you've got a financial pro forma, maybe you've got investors you're responsible to, or you just got milestones and targets. And maybe when it comes to hiring and you think about your team, maybe you settle a little bit here or you rush a hire there, and you think it's not a big give and maybe it's not a big deal. But my own experience in hindsight is that it can be absolutely detrimental. It can be toxic, and it can be fatal to the culture and even the success of a business. So the conversation today on team and teammates and the right maybe attributes of picking teammates that are what you need and fit you is pretty key to me. And the last one I'll say as a preview and a highlight here on today's episode is Kelly talks also about her Give Her Courage Foundation, Give Her Courage. This is a mission that she and one of her best friends have set up to instill confidence and courage in young women, helping their development. And it goes right along with Kelly's having a 5-year-old daughter herself. So in addition to talking about Kelly's business, we talk about Give Her Courage. That's a really good one. So listen through to the end. It's only about 20-25 minutes, and I think you're going to like this one. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Today I am joined by Kelly Roach, head of Kelly Roach Consulting, active social media, Instagram inspirer, follower, Unstoppable Success Radio podcast host, probably most importantly, mom, but business growth coach, author of 2 really good books. I just finished Unstoppable, The 9 Principles for Unlimited Success, and her newest book, Bigger Than You, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Building an Unstoppable Team. Kelly, really pleased to talk to you. Thanks for being here today.
I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Michael.
Yeah, pleasure's all mine. Like I said off air, my voice is not in tip-top shape today. I apologize to you and the audience in advance, but the good thing is here, you're the star, so you get to do most of the talking.
Yeah, I will try. I'm losing my voice also, but I'm excited. Let's get down to it.
Let's get down to it. I know I gave you a couple points that I wanted to drive into, but first, I know you've got a little slogan, and I got to do this for a couple friends. So you say you went from NFL cheerleader to $1 million mogul and mom. So I had to take a look. I've got a couple buddies that are rabid Eagles fans. You were with the Eagles, is that right?
Yes, it was my Eagles. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great for them. Bad for me. I'm a Falcons fan, so it just is what it is.
Oh, well, we can still be friends.
All right,
We'll work through
we'll
it.
work through it. Great. Well, fill in any gaps for me as we go, if you will, on the super quick intro. But I know we're a little short on time here today, and what I really wanted to try to hit on our mindset, because that's really important to what we're talking about with mastery, team, and investing in the right team. And before we get out of here, I want to make sure we talk about something really exciting you're doing with the Give Her Courage movement on Instagram for courage and confidence in young girls all around the world. But right away, the thing that jumped out to me about what you're doing, Kelly, is probably the depth and the credibility to what you've got. So there's a lot of people that get up on stage, get on TV, get on Instagram, and talk about philosophical things, talk about the ethereal, talk about maybe why things should be going on. But you really come to the table with how to get things done, how to take action. And in your background, I know you talk a lot about 8 years in the Fortune 500 world. Maybe instead of hello, I should have said Buenos tardes. I see you did Spanish immersion abroad. You've climbed
Yes,
Machu
yes.
Picchu. You got a lot going on. Can you just talk about how that makes you different and what you're able to bring to your coaching and your clients?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's become more important than it was when I first started, So, yes, I bring billion-dollar corporate strategies from my executive leadership in a Fortune 500 firm where I was promoted 7 times in 8 years to the online space. And that wasn't as important when I first got started, but it's become very important because, now it takes 30 seconds, for someone to go into business and to throw up business coach on their Instagram page. And unfortunately, many entrepreneurs have fallen into the trap of taking business guidance, advice, and even coaching and mentorship from people that are unqualified to deliver it. And so, I've never before valued more the P&L responsibility and the financial complexities of the work that I did in my previous life, because now running a multi-million-dollar business myself and running 2 different companies and having vast teams and really trying to help coach clients to become leaders in their field, I fall back on that experience quite a bit. More so than in the past. And what I found is so much of good business strategy has not carried over into the entrepreneurial world. And that's why there's so many really good, hardworking people that are just busting it, trying to build an online business, are not seeing that translate into results.
Yeah, that really makes sense. I know you say that your dream is helping other people reach their dreams, and I can relate. The corporate world is what it is, but in a good one, you really get some foundational tools that, as you said, somebody who's popped open a new business in 30 seconds, maybe they'll listen to somebody talk about strategy. It may or may not be the right context for them. Or you got some coaches that they want to jump right to action, and maybe it's a one size fits all sort of plan. But it sounds like yours is very tailored, very foundational, and some things you learned in the Fortune 500 world. And then P&L. You mentioned P&L. It's sort of all about results, right?
It is all about results. And it's really important to remember that as we dive deeper and deeper into the world of social media marketing. There's plenty of people with millions of followers on Instagram that are making $0 from it. And there's individuals with only 500 or 1,000 followers on Instagram that are making a nice little living. And it's very easy to get caught up in vanity metrics and, popularity contests and the comparison game online, when in reality, your job is to fulfill your highest purpose and to achieve your highest potential, to take care of your family, to, show up and make an impact in the world. And so, many times it's to your detriment to be comparing to others or worrying about, the judgment or the pressure of those things, because all it does is distract from purpose. And when you understand good business principle and practice, sales, marketing, service, operations, the fundamentals of infrastructure, and you have a good strategy, you can use any tactic and successfully grow. But if you don't understand the difference between strategy and tactic, and you layer tactic onto a poor or no foundation, a lot of times that's why when you see so many entrepreneurs, when one tactic blows up because there's an algorithm change or a shift in the market or whatever the case, they're out of business. But that's because they weren't running a business. They were using a singular tactic.
Right, or maybe, I don't know. You said metrics, vanity metrics. Maybe it's a popularity contest, and in a world where you can buy fake followers, it doesn't really have a lot of meaning, right? I started this podcast around a topic and a passion and a purpose of my own, with not any necessarily any plan on monetization or from a business perspective. But I did see, as we got in touch and I read your book and really enjoyed it. And I saw recently through your podcast that you are starting to run something for podcasts, either new or established, to talk about and learn exactly what you just said. How do you take something and potentially grow it as a real business? So, full disclosure, I just signed up for that this morning. Looking forward to hear what you have to say in that context. But from what you just said, I know in your book you lined out, hey, you got to have strategy. You just mentioned tactics, mindset, before you even take action. So can you talk a little bit more about the mindset that you teach and embrace and inspire?
Yeah, well, I think the first and most important thing to remember with mindset is that mindset is not a entry level, novice, newbie thing to be working on. And it's not a one-time thing that you go through when you're struggling or when you're getting started on something new. And I think for many people, they don't realize that the higher you go and the further that you want to go and the bigger the goals are that you want to accomplish, the more that mindset has to be the centerpiece of what you're doing, because you have to be willing to take bigger risks and to have the courage to push yourself harder and to try new things, to fail at a bigger level and to fail publicly if you want to accomplish greatness. And so it's really, really important. I built my entire brand around this word unstoppable. And I chose the word unstoppable, and the meaning that I've given to that is a person that is so committed to fulfilling their purpose and potential in this world that they will not let the obstacles, the struggles, the setbacks that we all experience as part of the human experience on the planet stand in the way of them accomplishing their highest goals. And so unstoppable does not mean that you don't fall down. It doesn't mean that you don't fail. It doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. It means that you're always going to dust yourself off. You're going to learn from it, and then do better next time because of it. And I think that is such an important mindset to have as an entrepreneur, because if you're not willing to fail, then you're playing in such a small box that you're really never going to succeed at any measurable and substantial level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. So maybe to paraphrase, I chose the word mastery in branding some of what I'm doing, because to me it's very similar in the sense of there's a journey, and a journey is very rarely a smooth path, and it's very rarely bottom left to top right on a smooth line. That there are failures everywhere. Well, I'll say almost everywhere, unless you just stay inside that comfort box that you're talking about, right? But once you really want to put yourself out there and push that envelope, failure is really only an end state if you let it be, right? Failure is not the same as quitting unless you let it be. Failure really ought to be a building block and a tool and something that we learn from, as you said. That's a natural part of the journey, that we should expect it. And I agree with you. As you grow, as you kind of elevate in what you're doing, as you take more risks, probably going to be more failures, and that's a good thing if you have the right mindset.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
where does, in terms of some of the philosophies in your mindset, team is the second thing I just jotted down to hit on. I know you really emphasize teamwork, team success, And I know we're talking about entrepreneurs, but at least in my way of thinking, an entrepreneur could truly be a greenfield business, or it could be within a corporation, and I'm starting a new P&L, or I'm carving out something within another organization. So when you talk about team and you talk about mindset, I think you also talk about I'll kind of do air quotes here, investing, and that may be literally or figuratively investing in the right team and the right types of teammates. Did I get that right from what I've read in your book?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like we all started our businesses because we wanted lifestyle and financial freedom. You cannot accomplish lifestyle and financial freedom by being an employee of your own business that starts and stops and starts and ends with you. And so many people avoid building a team because of the fear and the financial commitment and the pressure and the stress of leading and managing and growing a team. And that's why I wrote the book, right? To give people an exact roadmap for how to do this the right way and actually make money instead of losing money. It's called Bigger Than You. But the bottom line is you have to go back to, why did you start? Why did you start? Right? And if any part of your purpose in starting, beyond achieving your highest potential, is to accomplish lifestyle and financial freedom and to have more quality time with your family, or more freedom to do hobbies that you love, or to live a life that actually reflects what you choose, then it can't start and end with you. There has to be a team of people that sell, serve, and market for you. And it's really, really critical that entrepreneurs understand that, because there aren't many people out there talking about this.
Yeah, surprisingly so. So I'll wind the clock back a decade or more. My wife and I started a brick and mortar business, and a buddy of mine who's a small business owner said, "Hey, just be careful, because you can go one of two ways with this, right? You could do what Kelly just described, or you might just be buying yourself another job. And in fact, you might be buying yourself the hardest, most exhausting job you've ever had."
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what most people do. And I mean, now we see entrepreneurs that are being hospitalized, major health issues, all kinds of, serious, things going on. And, it's because the pressure and the stress level of trying to do it all, it's just too much.
It's too much, right? And not to say that even doing the right way, look, there's going to be stress, there are hard days, it takes a lot of work, but I love the idea that, it can't start and end with you to scale. There's got to be a team. I do need to read the new book, but it's more than just a team. What's the right team, or from what you found, what are the right kinds of teammates that you want in that environment?
Yeah, well, the right kinds of teammates, first of all, you have to know who you're hiring and what you're hiring for. And that comes down to making sure that you're designing roles within your organization that are going to be profit producing, that are going to be, high performance, highly profitable, revenue generation focused, and are going to actually move the ball forward in your company. And this is the biggest mistake that I see amongst small business owners, which is why building a team gets such a bad rap, because people say, oh, my team cost me money. Oh, I hired these people and they were so frustrating and they never contributed anything and they were so expensive, and on and on and on. Well, yes, because what you were having them do was purely tactical, and you didn't empower, engage, teach, train, coach, and manage them to be profit producers or to be thinking business people. You have tactical players that are waiting on a to-do list from you. Very, very different things, right? And so this is why in the book I get so specific. I know you said you just read Unstoppable, but Bigger Than You is my book that's about building a team, a bigger than you business. And, that's why I get so specific, because this is what I mean when I say that strategies that every billion-dollar corporation were built on that made them successful to scale didn't carry over to entrepreneurship. This is exactly what I mean. There's no one out there teaching entrepreneurs how to successfully hire and onboard and then develop people that are going to ultimately lead and run their organization for them. And so that's why I'm trying to get the word out and fill some of those gaps, because especially in what I do, where I'm helping people build their business to the $1 million mark and beyond, they're going to hit a wall where they can't go any further without that team. And so I have to make sure that we're meeting the sales and marketing with the people piece of things so that they can keep going.
Right. And I think I might distinguish between, and I get it, right? You're a startup and you're revenue constrained, and you really want to be smart about where you spend your money, and you think about all the tactical operational stuff that takes your time that maybe is preventing you from scale. And so hiring people in those roles, at some point you do, but I'll call it cost. But you're talking more of let's invest in people that hit the top line directly, that revenue number, which really gives me the power to scale my business ultimately.
Exactly. And you want to think about every person that you hire as a profit center for the business that is going to drive it forward and then allow you to hire the next person, right? And if you have the foresight as the business owner that it's planned out and mapped out correctly, then someone can easily come into your organization and fulfill that for you. But a lot of that comes down to the strategy and the planning that you put in before that person even sets foot through your quote unquote virtual door, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And so just to tie together the first 2 points on mindset and team, if you had one tip or one thing I could take away, is there a mindset that you look for in the teammates that you add?
Oh gosh. Well, yes, many. I would say first of all, I look for super flexible, super resilient, not easily offended warriors, that want to be in an ever-changing, very fast-paced environment and thrive under those circumstances. And for me, I'm a high D type A, right? So I may look for something different than other people that are listening on the call. But for me, I'm looking for every 2 people that I hire to drive the next $1 million of growth in the company. And so I need to hire a certain type of person that desires to be a part of that thrives in that type of environment. For the people listening, your goals or your dream might look completely different, and so you may look for something different. But what I would say is probably across the board with the online jungle that we all operate in now is you need highly flexible people. You need people that can pivot on a dime. You need people that can manage lots of priorities at once. And you need people that learn quickly on their feet, because the things that people are going to come into your organization to do that you're hiring for, you're not going to many times even be able to hire someone who has experience in it, because the online marketing is changing so quickly that no one could have had a job in something that just arrived on the scene yesterday. Make sense?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Now, okay, everybody's got a different style, maybe some different needs, but I mean, resilience and flexibility, I think those go a long way pretty
Yes.
universally.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So before we change gears here to Give Her Courage, on the Kelly Roach consulting business and Unstoppable Success Radio and your books and your speaking, let's just maybe pause and wrap up those services that you offer for entrepreneurs, that coaching, the results you help people get. Where is the best place for people to plug into that, to get to know you and see what those services look like?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say the absolute best place would be the Tribe of Unstoppables, which is my free Facebook group. I do live free trainings there every single week. Myself and heck, 8 of my team members are in that group all day long, every day, answering questions, supporting people. It is like, I don't know if you're in there or not, Michael, but it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And we have people that are building their businesses for free just by following and implementing the free content that I teach in the group.
Nice. I'm not in there, but that'll be my next click after our call.
Come join us. It's so much fun.
I'm jumping in. I do enjoy the Instagram videos. You got some cool stuff out there. And in particular, I know you got some great stuff on Give Her Courage. So let's hit that. I will put links to all of this stuff on the show notes and the email that go out with this episode. But tell me more about Give Her Courage, what inspired that, and these aren't vanity metrics. You've got a ton of followers on Instagram for that movement.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So I have a partner. Her name is Amy. We've been best friends since college. And she is a high-level executive for a pharma company. Obviously, I run my own company. And, we both got together. She has a daughter. I have a daughter. We looked at the success that we had in our careers, and we said, we felt like we were both very lucky because we're naturally confident people. And as we became parents ourselves, we were looking around for resources to instill courage and confidence in our daughters because we both agreed that that was the biggest thing that was going to, be a driver in their life of happiness and success and fulfillment, is having the confidence, right? And there just isn't a lot there. We just didn't we didn't see the things out there, the resources, the support, the books, everything's about the princesses, and like that's great, and like Madison loves to dress up every day and that's wonderful, but I need her to be building her courage muscles and her confidence skills and all of that. And so Give Her Courage is really a movement that's all about instilling courage and confidence in girls from the start. Our mantra is we rise by lifting each other up. And we really are just focused on creating both educational materials and learnable, teachable, fun tools, books. We have a jewelry line where we sell, wearable signs of courage and confidence. And we're just on a mission to make an impact. We feel like if we give parents the tools to instill courage and confidence in their girls from a young age, that they're going to raise women that are going to be leaders and they're going to accomplish their goals, because skills can be learned. And, skills are much more easily learned, I think, than the soft things like courage and confidence that are behind that. And so we're really trying to start that earlier and make it easier, for parents to instill those things in the girls that they love so dearly.
Yeah, no, that is so inspiring. It's a great mission, and I really love that you've brought the same mindset of tools to this that you do with your for-profit business. I just have a son. He's 11, but I've got a couple nieces. I got a couple goddaughters, and I was talking to a buddy the other day who has a daughter, and he had read somewhere that, I don't know who ran this study, but that girls' confidence peaks at something like 9 years old, or something shocking and ridiculous.
That's the problem. That is exactly the problem. So by the time you realize it's an issue, or by the time you want to help a girl with this, it's too late. And that's exactly why we're starting to create things from like age 3, so that literally we're starting to teach these mantras and read these books and have these conversations with girls literally from the time that they're like speaking, right? And walking, because that's what it takes. And you're absolutely right. Like it starts really, really early.
Yeah, it's shocking and systemic. So I was going to ask you that was going to be my last question. When's the right age, or what's the earliest age to get somebody involved? And it sounds like any age. Get started and try to make an impact.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was saying success mantras and, repeat after me and all of that. I mean, to Madison, the second that she could like speak a word, I don't think you could ever start soon enough, because that is the number one thing that's going to ultimately drive your daughter's quality of life. If she has confidence in herself and she has self-worth, she can work through any other challenge that's going to come her way. And you know what? She's going to have challenges. We can't prevent our daughters from going through these challenges. That's life. But what we can do is equip them with the inner strength to understand how to manage and cope and work through those things.
Yeah, exactly. That is awesome. How old is Madison?
She's 5.
5.
She's
nice.
5. Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
Kelly, thanks for being an incredible mom and an incredible coach. I'm going to jump in the tribe on Facebook. I know
yes, we'll look for you there.
Yes, please do. And I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for letting us know a little bit about what's going on. And I'm looking forward to learning more through your books and your website, Instagram, and Facebook.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks for the great conversation here today.
Yeah, you bet. I enjoyed it. Thanks, Kelly.
Take care.
Okay, that was a really good one. I would say pop over to manofmastery.com/015 as your next step. I think everybody can take something away from that conversation with Kelly, no matter what type of business you're in, but particularly if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a startup, if you're in a digital business. Her tribe of unstoppables on Facebook, her books, her podcast, her website, and even her coaching and consulting services are something you should really give a strong look to. So again, manofmastery.com/015. I've got links to all of that and where you can get in touch with Kelly and her team. Next week, I have a conversation coming up that is super powerful, shocking. I would even say maybe be cautious about letting the kids listen to this one, but it is a super incredible story of family, of tragedy, of unity, recovery, faith, love. It is all over the place. It's probably going to be an emotional one. I'm going to have my work cut out for me in being a good host and interviewer for this person. But it's one you're not going to want to miss. So tune in next week. That'll be should be episode 16 on the Man of Mastery podcast, and look forward to seeing you guys back there then.